I had a conversation this morning with a client of mine who raised an interesting issue, which is a subject matter for our conversation today. He said that the only problem he's having right now is cash flow. Well, you may resonate with that. He had something different in mind when he mentioned cash flow. What he was talking about was having enough money to fund the litigation expenses of some major personal injury actions that he's handling. But that started me down a different train of thought. And I want to focus on the traditional cash flow issue, because I think too few of us really understand cash flow and what impacts cash flow. There are three elements that I want to talk about when we talk about cash flow. The first is the volume of your practice. The higher the volume of your practice, the more money you're going to need to run your practice. Now, that is an obviosity, as somebody once said. It's an obvious statement, except it's not quite so obvious, because one would think that the more volume in your practice you have, with clients giving you payment right away, with retainers and so forth, you'll be in good position for cash flow. But the real element comes here. Number one, when you do your work, you don't get paid right away. The average in today's economy is about 150 to 180 days before you get paid. Assuming you do the work today, if you get paid anywhere between 120 and 180 days, you're doing really well. But the other element is point number two, and that is the growth. How fast are you growing your practice? The more you grow, the more space you need, the more people you need, the more resources you need, the higher your insurance cost will be, and so forth. Those expenditures come out of your pocket before you get paid. And the third element here that impacts this, and they all work one with the other, is your credit terms. How easy are you with your clientele in the credit that you extend to them? And the more you grow, the faster you grow, the higher the volume you have, the easier your terms are, the greater will be the strain on your cash flow, which means that you have to have more in reserve. And what my client was talking about in our conversation today was that he did not have enough reserve because of other things happening in his practice to be able to expend more on the cost elements, the expert fees, the witness fees, and so forth, to be able to sustain the litigation that was so large and so demanding. And so what he was looking at was how to finance this litigation to soften the cash flow strains. And in another segment, I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can finance your litigation.